Almost 5 years ago, one man set out to accomplish something that no one has ever done. Well, many have, but he also wanted to try. His name was Travis Kenny. He decided to start a podcast along with half the nation, who also wanted to start some sort of podcast because they feel they are important and people should listen to them. Travis Kenny started a podcast to interview his buddies, his pals, his friends, past, present, and current. Full Buddy Cast was birthed from this thought. He brought many people on and tagged them on social media to gain more followers. Over time, he decided that he needed to also create shows with reoccurring hosts such as Joey Hollenbeck, Sean McDonald, his brother Adam Kenny, who also created like 5 or 6 shows that just kind of petered out, and then he created a new one. But that's beside the point. Now, in your ears, whether you're listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, YouTube, or the Libsyn page, you are about to listen to an episode that needs kind of an introduction. The episode you're about to listen to is a Full Buddy Cast presentation. Please enjoy.
You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast presents Brew Ha Ha, brought to you by Cole Street Brewery in Enumclaw, Washington. Come down 1627 Cole Street, Enumclaw, Washington. Grab a beer, several beers on tap. Grab a growler, tag yourself in. Hashtag the podcast, Full Buddy Cast or Brew Ha Ha. Get that VIP treatment. Come on down, say hi to Sean or whoever's pouring as well. What is this podcast? We get this question quite a bit. This podcast was where Sean McDonald, owner, operator, brewer of Cole Street Brewery, and I, Travis from Full Buddy Cast, got together and said, hey, let's do a beer podcast. Let's talk about your brews. Let's get brew nerding out going on. We'll talk about how you brew. What is the process of these different types of beers? And then we also dive into whatever's kind of going on event-wise or whatever's going on. We even bring in other breweries and owners of breweries. He even has a bottle-sharing friend, Luis. We've brought him on as well. What we do is we just talk about everything that's kind of beer-related right now in the local Northwest. Send us your messages and your questions. Come down. Check it out. We even have Brew Ha Ha shirts. DM me, message me, go on Patreon, purchase one of those. If you're a Patreon type of a person, please search Full Buddy Cast. We have low tiers, medium tiers, and high tiers where you will get rewarded with each type of a thing. In this week's episode, we're looking at Beer of the Week. It's a very interesting beer. We also have the beer history as well, looking at the growlers, the history of growlers. Also, we had some listeners that had come down, interacted, had some conversations with them, and some questions kind of arose from that as well, where we're going to be looking at such topics as temperature of beer, what is Cole Street's temperature in their refrigeration system, tap lines as well, and how to clean those and what that looks like, and what Sean does. And so anyway, appreciate you. Hope you enjoy the episode. Have a great day.
Making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew ha ha. Cole Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode?
Well, it's good to see you, Sean. Just told Sean that I don't want to edit as much anymore, and then he throws me this curveball.
Well, we haven't actually started
It's
yet.
at the beginning, so I'm not too worried about it. Is this a Halloween special?
All right. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Brew.
We're gonna put a pin in that. We'll use that this time, but we'll also use it for a spooky Halloween special. We got to do a spooky Halloween special.
Yeah. When we're talking about Brew.
Okay. All right. If you haven't turned it off yet,
Thanks, Mark Herbert Schmidt, for that suggestion.
oh, that was his suggestion,
That was
huh?
his suggestion.
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Using Vincent Price's laugh,
Big. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to Brew Ha Ha. This is Full Buddy Cast presents Brew Ha Ha. Travis Kenny from Full Buddy Cast with Cole Street Brewer, Meister Brewer, Sean McDonald, owner, pourer, brewer, drinker, paperwork guy. He does it all.
Yep.
He does it all.
Man of many hats.
In this episode, we've got a few different things coming up. We've got the beer of the week per usual. We've also got a history lesson. We've got a few questions from people that have actually come visited. I'll tell some stories there. And then also, of course, our shout outs. So let's just jump right in. Beer of the week. This one's been on the board for a little while. We're finally getting it out. This is the Spruce Tip Winter Ale. I'd also like to point out, I brought us some beautiful glassware. We're going to start using proper glassware. Yes. This is it's not a wine glass. What's this called?
So you're drinking out of a tulip. I'm drinking out of a thistle. A thistle and a tulip are kind of the same thing, except mine's a little bit tighter on the top.
Yeah, I see that.
The reason why I did that, because I'm a little more geeky than you. This winter ale is it's basically it starts as a Scotch ale recipe, and then I kind of hop it up. So Scotch, Scotland, thistle. That's kind of
I like that. Okay,
inside beer joke, but yeah. But either way, both of these are in tulip glasses, so you got the nice. You keep your hand on the bottom, so you're warming your beer up.
Oh, from the bottom up.
Because, when we get this served to us, it's at 47 degrees. We want to drink it at about 50 degrees.
And why is that?
It opens it up. So this, like I said, this is a spruce tip. So I add a kind of like a pine needle. Obviously, that's very fragrant. The more it warms up, the more fragrant it gets, the more flavor comes out. So we're warming up our beer to open our beer up. That's how your head is nice and soft. But the longer you warm it up, the more open it'll get. And then in these glasses, you can swirl it around just like a wine glass. And you have a nice, beautiful froth on it. Yep. And then stick your nose right up in that. You smell that?
Yes. It
smells like winter.
Smells good.
Too bad it's springtime. But this is when the spruce tips are starting to tip out. So this is kind of like...
Bump, 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 tip out. Bump, bump, bump.
Sure.
Bump, bump, bump. Me and my brewers.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
But yeah.
That was ludicrous, by the way. I wouldn't even say that.
It's 6.8%. And IBUs are up there. It's a bitter beer. It's we're at 80 IBUs. That comes off, sounds a lot stronger than it really is, but it is bitter. But a lot of that 80 is from the pine.
That's me.
That pine is
me.
Really
I'm a little bit stronger than I come off, and I'm very bitter. I'm not very bitter, but I'm bitter. I'm a little bitter. Well, cool. Right on. It's delicious. I can't. So, what did you say was the ABV? How much?
6.7.
6.7. Nice.
Yeah, not quite a 7%, but we were aiming for 7.
But it's getting there. It's getting us there.
Yeah.
Well, right on, dude. Well, thank you so much for the beer of the week, guys. Go check that out at Cole Street Brewery, 1627
Cole Street.
Cole Street.
Open 7 days a week now. Open every day at 2. Starting May, we're going to start opening at noon on Fridays and Saturdays. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On
nice.
The weekends,
once it starts warming up, get off the links, come out, have a beer.
And then, it's still early, but you should get excited because the original brewery at 2551 Cole Street will be opening Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, exciting. And so I know that's kind of the place. Can we say the E word right now, or can we not say the E word? I think we can say it. Phase 3 events, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You can say the E word now.
We're getting onto that, yeah. There's still some catches on some of it. I still can't do trivia. And obviously music is still a touchy one. Anything that has any type of dancing, he can't.
Can't dance.
Yeah. Even though most of my music events aren't really like
Right.
dance floor type of thing.
Right.
But
Not yet.
But that's where it's a little. I can't do anything quite like that. But I am I'm doing comedy shows. I mean, we just had comedy this last week.
Yeah.
We're going back to like it was kind of a test run because we had the capacity. So I basically sold tickets or cover charge for my capacity. So whatever my capacity started at 25, then it actually jumped up to 50.
Yeah.
And so I just sold enough tickets for that. I've done that for this next one.
Those tickets run about how much? Just $10. Drop by the brewery, go buy one.
I just a little skin in the game to make sure that you show up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm limited on how many seats, so I want to make sure that there's a
sell.
butt in that seat, right?
Gotcha.
So it's going to switch to the first Wednesday of every month we do comedy.
So how do you do that then? Because you're at capacity. Do you have to lock the doors during that time?
Well, so I leave a little bit of a gap so that people can still come in and grab growlers and
go outside.
or pints and sit outside.
Yeah.
Outside is still
so you
available.
can still sell.
Yep. There's no capacity outside. Like
Right. Just go as much as
whatever
okay.
can fit.
Gotcha. All right. So message you first. You said first Wednesday of every month. Typically is when you're going to be doing these comedy shows.
Yeah, we have 3 comedians. It starts at 7. Basically, the first guy, he's kind of brand new to comedy, so he's cutting his teeth.
Yeah.
Second one is like more of a regional person, like Tacoma, Seattle. They got pretty good chops, but they still have some flaws. And then the top headliner is a traveling. They're from Vegas, California, New York. They're good.
And then I show up after.
Yeah,
right. That's going to be a new routine,
yeah,
a new tradition where I go up after the headliner. I bomb.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up, so you're more than welcome to show up early. I mean, it starts at 7, so show up at like
5,
2. Show it at 2.
Just warm up the crowd for 6 hours.
Yep.
Right on. Okay. Well, yeah, we want to go check those things out. I'm excited. We'll start doing some live events too. Me and Sean need to get together and start planning out what days those are. We have some good ideas, and here's the thing. Some of them kind of got floated around as I was telling people, and they're excited for it as well. But we also got I think people are just cooped up and they see a little sun and they're like, let's go crazy.
Yeah,
if we would have pulled the trigger on that night, it actually snowed.
Yep.
So I'm kind of happy that we
Right.
didn't do it because I don't know what the turnout would have been like. So
yeah.
Anyway, we will be doing some Full Body Cast live events at either place. We'll figure it out, but we'll get that information out to you guys.
Yeah.
And looking forward to those.
Definitely looking forward to those.
History lesson. Now, what do we got for this history lesson?
Oh yeah, so I was gonna I touched on this one of the first podcasts that we ever did. I touched on like growlers and where the name growler, because I bring a growler of beer every time we come up here. Just beer of the week came out of a growler. So where did that name come from? So the first rumor started like after the Second World War. The kids used to run down to the bar and grab some beer, and they'd actually bring it out to the workers. So at lunchtime, kids would bring to their dad or their uncles or whatever. And so it was, and the term for doing that was actually calling rush to the growler, right? So in the way you say that, and it's lunchtime, they kind of just assumed it was like the guys' stomachs were growling, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But that was more like an Americanized kind of advertised sort of thing.
Okay.
If you roll back further, back in the 1800s, so we were talking England, kind of the same thing. The kids used to have to go down to the local pub, and they take like galvanized pails, and which had a lid on it, and they go and fill the beer, and they bring it home for dinner or bring it home for their parents. But when you're walking down the road and you're shaking it up, and it's full of CO2, obviously it gets foamy and it starts kind of burping,
Bubbling a little bit,
But
burping.
when it does that, it's kind of like growling, and that's where the name came from originally.
Interesting.
And it's just morphed into, we started making glass, and then we started putting logos on it, and then it's turned into what it is today.
And then you get the growler when you can.
growler.
You can't, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Canned growler is how
right.
a growler came about.
And actually you had that question this past week. What's that machine over there? I have a can.
Yeah, I have a growler machine.
Just
currently,
aluminum tin is hard to.
Yeah, because of the COVID, there was a shortage of cans, aluminum. There's still kind of a shortage. But when I looked into it, I had to get a pallet. A pallet is 3,300 cans, and I sell like 200 cans a year.
Yeah.
So that would take me several
Yeah,
years.
so you're set.
Yeah.
Good.
And
Long-term investment.
yeah, but cans are also fragile. Like you barely bump into them and they dent, and then you can't use them.
Oh, I
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't like to have to store something that's that fragile.
Yeah, well, the good thing I'm not in that palette because I would definitely. Anything more to that growler history lesson? Very cool. We'll test at the end. We'll do a test. Just kidding. We won't. So I know we're not at the shout out times yet, but I do kind of want to at least give a mini shout out prior to that. So a couple weeks ago, Eric Madrid, he was in your troop back in the day, wasn't he?
Troop 422.
422.
Boy Scouts troop.
Boy Scouts troop.
Not dance troop.
I went to
I'm not a dancer. You can get confused.
You know, I
'cause,
could see that.
I mean,
I could see that.
his name and some music.
He came out. We actually recorded an episode. I'm going to be releasing that shortly. So stay tuned to that. But we went to Cole Street. You know, he's a big beer guy. He loves beers, craft beers. In fact, he started. I think I don't know if you knew this, but the Kraken, they're having some sort of, I forget who it is. Some beer is like their official sponsor, but it's a Northwest beer that has been bought out by, I think it's Northwest, by like
By one of the bigger.
yeah, and
Of
so
course.
but they advertise it as a craft beer.
Of course.
And then Eric got on there, Beer Nerd of the Week, and he's like, actually, they shouldn't be considered craft. Correct that. And there's 100,000 different craft breweries around the area that deserve this and deserve the shot at it way more than just some.
Shout out to Half Lion. Half Lion is the sponsors of both the T-Birds and the Dragons.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is that. What is that? AFL or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, they just got that sponsorship and then COVID happened. So they haven't actually gotten to do anything with the Dragons yet, but they've always been sponsors of.
So they were just getting in.
T-Birds. Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
And the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And then we actually, shout out to Kellen Hall. We actually met up with Kellen and his wife as well later too. But as we're sitting there, we're talking, we're drinking, we're having these beers. It was a good time. Got some food at the Rainier there, and just chatted up, sipping on the brews. One of the things that he kind of said, he goes, "Dude, I love the brew ha-has. I like the beer nerd aspect that you guys are hitting with that."
Because he geeked out a little bit telling me about his Hefeweizen that he's been doing.
Yeah, you guys
temperatures. You got to drop your temperature or raise your temperature on.
Yeah. And I just bobbleheaded the whole time.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Oh yeah, totally, right?" And pretended I knew what I was. I laughed loud. I was like the kid on the outside of the 8th grade pit, and just laughed really loud, trying to be cool.
I'm a cool kid.
I'm a cool kid.
I know what they're talking
I know
about.
you're talking. Yeah, beers, right? Anyway, one of the things he said, "Hey, get nerdy with it." So he gave us that encouragement. One thing he did ask is about temperature, and he assumed that all your taps are all in the same refrigerator. It looks like
They are all in the same refrigerator.
and so yeah, okay, and
All right.
and so then he thought that are they all being poured at the same temperature? And then there's that.
So it's,
go ahead, take it
it's-
away.
Yeah, so it's all the same room. I've just it's set. You set up your room. It's just like in your fridge. Kind of works the same way. Like if you put stuff in the back towards the where the refrigeration is coming in, it's going to be a lot colder than in the front where the door is opening and closing all the time. That warms up. So that's kind of all I do in my fridge. Like so right now currently I only have 3 lagers. So I have the Pub Light, which is just a Pilsner lager. I have the Vienna lager, which is a dark lager, and then I have the Margarita, which is another light lager. All 3 of those kegs are as close to my refrigeration unit. And I also take like pieces of cardboard that I've lined it with the it's like a reflective liner. That's my all my fridge has the same liner all the way around it. It's like a padding. It's an insulation with it reflects the keeps the outside heat away and the inside and the coolness. So I use that to reflect on those kegs and keep those kegs really cold because we've talked about lagers. If we look at our beer chart,
Yes.
lagers are at the bottom. Bottom means cold. Ales are at the top. That means warm. And so then my fruitier beers, so my mango peach, my blackberry, those are closer to my door because we're coming and going to grab ciders out of there. So that door does open and close. It's still cold. I mean, my fridge is still 47 degrees, but near there, it may be 49 degrees, give or take. And it's between 47 and 49 versus where the loggers are, it's at 47 exactly all the time. So that's how I can kind of control my fridge to a point.
Yeah.
And then it reflects in the beer because each beer does have a cellar temperature and a serving temperature. That's, that was a great tip that Idrid. So I'm going to, every time we do a beer of the week, I'm going to start talking about that. Start incorporating that so people know that's an Americanized thing. Everybody thinks that it needs to be as cold as the damn fucking Blue Mountains, and that's stupid. Beer is not supposed to be that freaking cold.
But what about
ever?
But there
and
are
you're not supposed to be in a frozen glass.
But
ever.
But
no.
With that said, there are people that enjoy an ice cold.
There are so many people
beer.
that say that it's still not right.
It's
a wrong thing to do.
I like it.
It's a wrong thing to do.
So,
it's not good for your body. It's not good for the beer.
But it's that taste. It's that that refreshing, just crisp.
Yeah,
boom.
and then your body just has to warm it up anyway. So it makes absolutely no
so
sense.
Okay, so then throw it in the microwave.
No, not in the microwave. Simply put it in your glass and you palm it, just like we're doing in this glass right here.
So
you're gently warming it up. You're not cooking it.
So I feel like you take offense at it a little bit, and I think you're an artist, right? I can picture an artist, right? And people.
Well, people are going to do what they're going to do.
People are going to do what they're going to do, and you give them that option. Yeah. You've got them cold.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't warm it up. I mean, that's one of the biggest comments that everybody says about English beer. So they're like, well, I don't want to drink warm beer.
Right.
It's not actually warm beer. It's still cold beer. It's just a lot warmer than Americans are used to. It's at 50 degrees, which is like, I just switched to a porter, and that's the temperature that, I have another bottle over
I was
here.
wondering where
You're bogarting that bottle. I brought a second bottle just for myself.
Okay, cool.
I'm kind of thirsty.
Because I'm looking around, I'm like, wait a second, I didn't see that thing come out.
But this is an ale, so it should be served, or it should still be served at between 40 or 47 degrees and 49 degrees, so that once it gets to your glass, depending on the temperature of glass, the glass is warm too, so that's going to warm up the beer. That's going to grab a couple degrees, and so you're getting it at 50 degrees, and then once you have it in your hand, once you take a couple sips, it starts warming up. So it's going to be at 52, 53 degrees, and that's where it starts really opening up, and you get a lot more flavor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all about flavor.
I get the flavor part. So here's the thing. Quick rant before we move on, because we're going to jump into something else here. Idrid, thanks for coming, and thanks for that. But I actually called him today because I was frustrated about the podcast, and the one that we're on together here. And if you're new to Brew Ha Ha, you may be even listening for the first time or whatever. This is an offshoot. Like, think of Full Body Cast as an umbrella. It started out as just like me going with random people, and then it started picking up steam with other people jumping on, and then starting to have some recurring shows. Brew Ha Ha is one of those. Look for that Mondays. That's the typical time when it's going to be released. I may or may not release on a Tuesday, depending on if a holiday lands on Monday and no one's going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Then that might shift to like a Tuesday to start your week off, kind of a thing. Anyways, with Brew Ha Ha, it's a great show. In fact, you started adding a lot of people, inviting a lot of people to listen.
Yeah, shout out Luke from Lost Woods and Arthur from Scamp Brewing. They came on
to
our
come
show.
on, but also inviting people to listen. Like, you invited people to the Full Body Cast page, and
for sure.
And so that was cool too. And so if you're listening, appreciate you guys. But today I just kind of threw out this like random, hey, what would you guys like to see? What would you guys, just curious. It was the funniest thing, and is that on Facebook, people, the votes were completely opposite of what Instagram was. Instagram liked longer episodes, more episodes. They liked the same host, where Facebook was short episodes, just a few released, and then guests. So hey, we're the best of both worlds, I guess. I'm not sure we're going to make...
I don't mind the long episodes, except for we are drinking beer the whole entire time,
Yeah.
and there needs to be a pee break somewhere. in
Yeah,
there.
there definitely needs to be a pee break. But I guess the thing that kind of hit me was that, I put a lot of energy, a lot of time into this. So does Sean and Joey and the Garage Night and Craig and Corey and Sarah and Adam for Gold Buddy Cast, and then Mark Herbert Schmidt. We had Bobby Martinez, Mike on the mic. Like, we've got a lot of people that jump on here and do a lot of different things. And so the good thing about feedback and asking for feedback is you get a lot of feedback. It's good to kind of like sift through that. The other thing is you realize you'll never satisfy everyone. And I don't know, as a business owner, where you may have people come up and
I get a lot of suggestions from the public.
Yeah,
A lot of people want to redesign my whole, interior or suggestions on how I should be selling stuff. Great. I love all that input.
Right.
But they sometimes get upset when I don't put it into place. But
Sure.
a lot of it is just not me. It's not my
style.
It's not my goal. Yeah.
Right. I think one of the cool things about Cole Street Brew is, and the same thing with Full Body Cast, is that it's all done by one person for the most part. Yeah, we have awesome help and we have awesome people that surround us and support us, and we appreciate those people. I like my variety of shows. I know you like your variety of beers. In fact, I think one of the surprising things is that you'll walk in and you'll see about 7 or 8 different types of beers on tap, and you'll be like, "Oh, where's this one from?" Well, that's mine.
It's
Oh,
mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
What
the beer
about
on
this one?
tap's
The whole thing is Sean's, and it's impressive to say. That's very impressive to have a mango peach, and then a pub light, and then amber ale, and then a
Spruce tip.
second
Winter ale.
Yeah, another. Yeah, you've got
Beer of the week.
exactly blackberry. Like, you've got all these different beers, and it's very impressive. So anyway, I just think that it's as a business owner, when people come give you suggestions and you offer them, but there's that kind of like that. Not frustration. I'm not mad at the people, but I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to satisfy this person. Like, and I just need to let that go.
Yeah, you get used to it.
You get used to it.
Drink a beer.
Cheers. All right,
Cheers.
cool. Cheers. Anyway, one of those people that came in though, Adrian Cardenas. So Adrian came
long time. Haven't seen him in a long time.
A long time. I've seen him too much. Haven't seen him for a long time. Now I've seen him way too much in the past week. Great guy, fun guy, hilarious guy to cut it up with.
He's
I actually
got
recorded
stories.
with him too. He'll have one coming out soon.
Nice.
But one of the after he saw all the beers, and that was one of his questions.
Stopped in and drank some.
Yeah, drank some, and then afterwards, I thought you were like ready to like get us out because you were kind of closing up shop. You eventually,
I sent my girl home.
yeah, you sent your employee.
Shout out Emily.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple new employees. I have Rachel working. She's Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then I have Emily is Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays right now. So first part of the week, and then they kind of rotate on the weekends.
Okay, well, and then
of course,
and we'll meet them. We'll meet them at some point, hopefully on here. Well, Adrian and I, I'm like, well, let's go to a few places that I know that are probably still open. So we went to one, and I ordered a beer. And I'm not going to say names. I don't want to say names, but I ordered a beer not on the tap because I don't trust the lines. I don't trust the tap lines there. I just had to get a regular beer out of the fridge, which I got shit for. From when you showed up, Sean shows up, and I'm like,
shit beer. There's other stuff in cans you could have chose.
Well,
from.
they said the shipment wasn't in.
Bye-bye. Anyway,
Okay,
so I know the place that you're referring
All right.
to, and do you notice that my beer is not on tap there? I kind of have a little story with that. So
okay, yeah, I'm all ears.
So they've changed management fairly recently, but prior to that, the other manager had talked to me about having her my beer on. I'm like, that's fine, but I'd really like to go in and take a peek at your fridge. And she kind of gave me this like weird look, like, okay. And I went in there, and like we were just talking about how I structure my fridge. they put their beer kegs directly behind their window doors. So window doors are constantly open and closed, open and closed. Especially in a bar like that, there's an awful lot of the canned goods like you were drinking.
Right.
More of that sells than the kegs. And so the temperature is just horrible. And not to mention, I went over to the corner where the refrigeration unit is, where the cooling unit is, and it was 52, 53 degrees right there. So if it's 53 there, it's 60 where those, on a busy night, it's 60 on those kegs. And that's horrible. I don't want my keg sitting there.
Right.
It's going to do something to the beer that's not mine. And then on top of it, I also then in walking back, I grab one of the lines and just feel down the line. Now you looking out the outside, you can't always tell what on the inside is, but for me, cleanliness you can tell just by how clean everything is, and it was not clean in any way, any shape or form. So there are companies that come through and clean beer lines. They'll come in and basically hook up one side and run caustic through it to the other side, and then and go back the other way and sanitize it, that sort of thing. There are several bars in town, like the Mint is pretty good about doing that. I want to say they do it like once a week, versus some other bars like once a month if you're lucky. Sometimes like once every 6 months. Oh, we don't need to do it. For me, with my fridge, just the structure that my fridge is, I don't mess around. I mean, it's the lines. The lines for me are not that long. My longest line is probably 6 foot, and so I simply every time I change a beer, I change out a line, and then I'll sit those in caustic in my sink, and then put power water through it. But after 2 or 3 times, I just throw that line away and just grab a brand new line. It also depends on the beer. If it's like a sticky beer, if it's a stout, if it's a porter or something like that, I just throw it away right away. If it's a cleaner beer, I'll run it like a Pub Light where there's not a whole lot to get stuck up in there. I'll just run that for
interesting.
I'll rinse it and then I'll clean it and then I'll reuse it.
That's crazy.
I can afford to do that. The Mint, I mean, their lines are long. Like they have a 16 is probably the shortest one they have.
Yeah.
They have a 20 foot.
You can't
They're
really
long lines.
pull
and so
those out
that'd be expensive to replace that all the time.
Sure. And then also just time consuming.
Yeah.
Well, so when you said no, so you said no to that person and they were like,
yeah, they kind of took offense to that. But I'm like, it's my beer. I choose where it is. I do that even when I'm out of town. People have asked for me out of town. I go secret shop every place that I put my beer on because it's my product.
Do you put a wig on and a little dress?
I still wear Cole Street stuff when I walk in. Cole Street hat. But a lot of times when you walk in, people aren't really right away recognizing who you are. But there's a lot of different standards that I have, both for my beer and how my beer is served. Like I've been asked so many times, and I don't want to call it names of the places, but there's a lot of places that have digital screens. I walk in there and I look at this digital screen that has, 30 beers on it, and I have to squint in order to see who made that beer. I don't want my beer there. The whole purpose of me selling it to a place is kind of advertising out of my town saying, hey, this is an Enumclaw beer. Come find us in Enumclaw. Yeah. If I have to squint rather than just, they're just ordering a number or they're just ordering a name. They don't care where it came from. I'm not about that. That's why I keep all my beer close.
Yeah.
I put it on at the Mint, and the Mint says, hey, go across the street. Cole Street's right there. At the Rainier, oh, it's right next door. They're talking me up and bringing people to me. I don't know, just one of the many things. And then on top of it, like what they know about beer and how good their beer service is, how good their lines are, how good their, again, because it's my beer, and at the end of the day, I don't want somebody having a bad beer that comes from me.
Yeah.
Because then it puts a bad rap on me.
Yeah. And you already have enough bad raps in life.
I have enough bad luck from the stupid government, yes, for sure.
Have we gone through that?
I still have awesome beer.
Have you waited through all that? Are you with the government stuff?
Does that ever end?
Never.
It never ends.
It's a grind, man.
It is.
I have no clue about it, but yeah, it's a grind, bro. I feel you.
Oh yeah.
Nonstop, man.
Yeah, it's tax season right now, so yeah.
It's taxing.
Yeah. It's very taxing.
It's a very taxing season. Well, I'm going to give a shout out. We're getting towards the end of the episode, but I got to give a shout out to Cassie Spencer. We saw Cassie when we went to Phil's, and you taught me a game.
Oh, cribbage. I can't believe that you don't know how to play cribbage.
I've never played cribbage before.
So I have a cribbage tournament once a month, the last Saturday of every month. Well, as soon as this COVID restrictions.
And
is
wait,
over, but-
what are the prizes? What's this tournament you talk about? Do we have prizes or is it just bragging rights?
No, there's prizes.
Oh, you just can't mention them.
Yeah.
You take them into a back room, or what are we talking about here?
The prizes can change. I cannot give away free beer.
Of course,
so don't
right.
ever
That's-
expect free beer.
Yeah, that's a given.
Except for a birthday beer. If it's your birthday, the week of your birthday, come in for a free beer. That's
You can do that. That's a government.
That's
cool
the
with that?
only beer that I can ever give away
Wow.
for free is a one birthday beer to every individual.
Your birthday is always tomorrow. There's
That's
free
the
beer
way I
tomorrow.
feel, but
there's free beer tomorrow. Your birthday is always tomorrow.
there is always free beer tomorrow. Yeah, come on down to Cole Street. There's free beer tomorrow.
Saw Cassie I was playing cribbage, and then Cassie shows up, and Cassie's great because here's how I heard about Cassie. One day, Corinne from Premenopause, she says, "Oh my gosh, there's people that listen to us." And I'm like,
Isn't that the point?
yeah, and I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? She's like, oh my gosh, there's people. There's these people at Starbucks. These two chicks. Maybe she didn't say chicks, but I said chicks. These two girls, these two ladies. They were handing me my drink and saying, "Oh, are you Corinne from Full Body Cast Premenopause or something like that?"
Yeah, and then Johanna.
Yeah, Johanna as well.
Yeah,
So
Johanna
they both worked there. It's last name Spencer, right? I want to make sure I'm shouting out the right. I want to hold on.
I know Johanna Kramer. I don't, because she came down to our live event when Joey did his.
Yes.
Live. She had messaged me asking about food and asking about seating, and
Yes,
she had to buy a ticket or something.
Well, that was the other thing. So I hear about her through Corinne, and then I think I maybe started following them on Instagram. Maybe messaged them, "Hey, we're gonna do a live." It is Cassie Spencer. I was right. A live event here at Cole Street, and her and Johanna came, and that was a lot of fun. The reason it was fun, I look back at it now. At the time, I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah,
But we had a guy who's maybe 86th from Enumclaw altogether.
a lot of bars. I honestly haven't seen him in quite a while.
Yeah,
too.
we had the Hog Dog. Hog Dog showed up and hogged the mic. He took it over, and he was just starting to say everything that you would watch in like a sexual harassment video.
Yep.
If you were to get
Exactly.
hired at some place, they're like, okay, you got to watch this video. It's like a 25-minute video. And he would be the guy that everything he said, everything he did, everything he made a comment, and nicknames, and I'll show you a good time. And he said that.
Yeah.
Very, very awkward as a host who's excited to be a part of this live event at Cole Street, first one. Joey Hollenbeck, Holler with Hollenbeck, got people coming out, Mike on the mic, Bobby and Katie and then Craig and Carrie and then this happens. Oh man, that was a night to remember and to forget. But anyway, I saw her, said thank you very much. Sorry about that. I said sorry. And then, but she became a Patreon subscriber.
Oh, nice.
I'm getting her a T-shirt. Every Patreon subscriber gets a T-shirt. Hit me up. Go to Patreon. What is Patreon? Please just go there and figure it out yourself. But it's Full Body Cast, one word. There's different tiers. I'm going to start opening that up as well, to where if you are a higher tier and you want to come on and record, once every 3 months kind of a thing, I will air our episode if you're interested in that kind of a thing.
We got some lovely Brew Ha Ha t-shirts.
Brew Ha Ha t-shirts to give away as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just appreciate the support, but also appreciate, because I think that night she went home and she immediately jumped on the old Patreon and subscribe.
Well, while we're on that subject, we're shouting out kind of your Patreons. I'd like to talk about my Patreon sort of subscribers, if you want to say.
Yeah.
I have a VIP group. I have had that since 2015, I want to say.
That's cool.
And then I only open it up once a year. Right now it's open from, so I open it up March 15th, and it ends April 15th. There's only a month that you can sign up. The biggest thing is like you get $1 off your beers when you come down. It's for people that come in all the time. They're my regulars.
Yeah.
We also have like the splash thing. That's another big selling point. When we first opened, we're a small town, so everybody knows everybody, especially when we first opened. And so you come in, you have a couple beers, you pay out, you're just about to leave, and then someone walks in and you're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Damn, I don't really want to get another whole beer." So I just grab a glass and I throw a little splash in there and say, "Hey, here you go." So you got some beer to keep your chops a little damp,
keep
and
it
so you
rolling.
can keep talking and that sort of thing. Just started doing that for free. Well, as it progressed, it started people that were overusing that, and my biggest thing is they started critiquing. Like when I started pulling on staff, it was fine when it was just Eric and I doing it because we'd fill what we'd fill. But when we started pulling on staff, it's kind of hard to explain to a staff member like, "Hey, this is how much how much do I do?" Like ironing that out, and then some of the people were complaining about that, and I'm like, that's not right. This is like a free thing,
Right.
So I turned it into a VIP thing. So if you're a VIP, you're 100% like go pay your tab and ask for a splash. You can try some new beer where it's it's a little more than the same. It's like the same size as my sample glass. It's about 2.5 ounces.
Yeah.
Every time you're in there. But anyway, I definitely want to shout them out because they've been a lot of these people have been with me for a long time. So obviously Luis and Annette. Luis was on the show.
Yeah, bottle share.
Ken and Julie, Bobby and Stephanie, Kelly Passy, Joanne and Dave, Jennifer and John, Dave, Seth, Joe, Tracy and Karen. They all know who they are.
Yeah.
But if you want to join that elite group until April 15th, you can sign up. It is $200 to sign up. But like I said, you get $1 off your beers. We also go on 2 different
beer adventures.
Beer adventures,
Okay.
yeah. So obviously I've talked about it. The brew industry is so open to each other. We're tight-knit. So we get to go behind the scenes. You pick the brewery, we can go in there and we can see like the ins and outs and meet the
Wow.
brewers and do some of that stuff. We do 2 of those a year, one in spring, summertime, and then one in the fall, winter, because it's kind of different seasons, so you can see different things.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend that owns like kind of a bus company, so we get a
that
nice
up, too.
butt and go bus, and then
Do you guys have like a VIP night? Like now that you'll be like opening 2 different spots.
we do a couple other like add-on things. So I don't reserve tables. I think reserving things is always such a pain in the butt because you never know when they're going to get there. People are always frowning like, why is this table? But I do it for a VIP. I will reserve that for a VIP.
Oh, nice. Okay, so they kind of have that special
Yeah. And like a
Membership.
lot of times I have restricted growler fills, and so I'll open that up for a VIP.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
and
like
then-
that. Have one tap where it's like, hey, VIP only.
Yeah, and we have a Christmas party. There's like extra bonus for like private Christmas
Oh,
party
you
for
would-
the VIP.
All right, you
Mhm.
in the back room again? Is this so?
Yep.
If we're playing the cribbage, then
Uh-huh.
so could you give away? Let's say someone wins 5 cribbage tournaments in a year.
I could give away a VIP.
VIP,
Yeah,
maybe.
good,
Yeah, tear them up.
Yeah, Chris. I forget Chris's last name, but Chris is reigning champion of the crib. He's won at least 3 of the
Oh
tournaments.
wow!
So
All right, well.
Let's
I'm a
not talk about
newcomer.
that.
I'm
Chris
getting absolutely
Strout.
smashed right now in cribbage. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to shout out my quick Patreons as well because I say I'll do that every episode. Shout out to Eric, obviously, and Kellen, our newcomer, Cassie, and then Casey, not to be confused with, Seth, Holly, Desi, and my brother, Adam. Appreciate you guys. Hey guys, hit us up with questions, messages. If you want a history lesson, you're like, hey, I want to know what's going on. Go join Patreon for $1 and then send me a message. But seriously, send us a message. You want a history lesson on anything beer related.
Yeah, any beer questions?
We
Yeah.
want it, and we're gonna start recording them where you're not waiting 4 weeks to get the answer. So sorry about that, Kellen.
Sorry, Kellen.
Everyone, thanks so much for listening. Have a great week. Sean, appreciate you.
All right. Yeah.
Have a good day, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.